Hi, my name's Owen. I'm one half of Huldufugl, a company that's presenting A Box in a Desert, which is a virtual reality interactive show in virtual reality. And we're here at the San Diego Fringe showing this.
Oh, hi. Hello. Were you waiting long? We just wanted to give you some time to get adjusted. So, how do you like your new home? Inside the box, you're completely protected. Everything is taken care of and no harm will ever come to you.
I have been working in virtual reality for a little while before. I run a company called Horizons Studio. They're based in London. And there was an opportunity to do an event, something for Culture Night in Reykjavik. And Nanna had already written a play, which was a regular play for a stage for two people called The Box. Because when you're in virtual reality, you have a limited area of where the sensors work, which is basically a box. So you are, in effect, physically trapped inside a box when you're inside virtual reality. So it seemed kind of natural that we would take this show that Nanna wrote about being trapped inside an invisible box and redo that in virtual reality, but take the audience and replace one of the characters in the play with an audience member. So they find themselves trapped inside this invisible box in an endless desert with no idea of how they got there and with no immediate way of escaping. And then the story progresses from there.
It's completely
Don't trust this creature. He's lying. He just wants to keep you here, constrained.
The fun thing about virtual reality is that compared to if you're developing a computer game, you have buttons and controllers that you have to learn the muscle memory to get good at doing. With virtual reality, if we say pull a lever, most people know how to pull a lever. You just reach out and grab it and pull it down. So there's a lot of we can use real world analogs for everything and just add those things in there. So if there's a lever that they need to pull or a button they need to push or an object they need to pick up, we can just ask them to do that. They can usually figure it out without too much difficulty, and in the majority of cases they get it straight away and we can just carry on with the story. The main part of this experience is about talking. It's about communication and listening and having a conversation, which you need no specialist knowledge to do. And we keep the interaction very simple in this particular installation.
I'm your guide. We're going to get out together.
The story centers around you, the audience member, and you, without spoiling it, you encounter a character who is outside of the box. And that character's entire focus in all of the world is you. And your status within this box. There's also a voice in your head that's telling you to get out. So there's this conflict between those two characters. Yeah, the entire story revolves around you as the player, to borrow sort of that concept from video games, and your actions within this world that determine everything. We do have hopes to expand the show or use this medium to do shows that involve more than one person at once, because there's obvious limitations with this format. Just practically, we can only do one person every 20 minutes. But it also means that there's this amazing connection that you get in the 20 minutes that you spend with these characters, and it's maybe not the connection that you want, but you still get a connection and a real sense of presence.
Okay, around the back of your head first and then slide it down. So, put your hands in like a karate chop.
We've received some funding that's able to enable us to bring it to different places, and in many ways it's completely impractical, but because of that, the sort of the benefit of being able to give people this really intense experience for 20 minutes kind of outweighs the sort of the limitations of how practical it is. How long we're going to be able to keep on touring this show is another matter, but for now it's worth it for the experience that we think it gives people.
Hi, my name is Avery Mancuso. I just participated in a box in the desert. It was quite the experience. It was a bit surreal at first. Usually my VR experiences aren't that interactive, but it was definitely something you could tell there was a lot of effort put into it, and I really appreciate the creativity and hard work that was put into this project, and I hope that more of this kind of stuff can be offered to people in the future.
Fringe has been a great place because you have people that are curious, experimental, kind of into trying something a little bit new, but also aware of like what this is from a theatrical point of view. So we get some really good feedback there. But they're also probably versed in like other forms of art, for example, video games. So we get really interesting feedback with people that have more experienced in those mediums. And it's very portable. Literally the entire thing. I don't know if you can see underneath here. There's a ski bag, which is basically it's this plus checked luggage is the entirety of the show. The whole set fits into basically this computer. So there are multiple endings to the piece, depending on how your choices that you make. We don't want to spoil too much, but ultimately you have choice in the box. You are presented with a choice at the end of the show, whether to stay or remain. And our job is to, I think, with this story, is to present both sides of that choice as equally as we can. Whether or not we do that is another matter. I don't know, because obviously a lot of people's impulse is to escape, but that's the point. That's one of the points of the show, is try to make it a more nuanced decision whether or not to stay safe, bodily safe, but entertained in your mind, or to be outside in the potentially like dangerous world.